I extend to the Honorary Secretary Dr. Ram Mohan and Dr. Amsaveni, Professor, Department of ECE, and Dr. Sasikala, Associate Professor, and various other speakers, students, and the various participants. I extend my hearty welcome to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your precious welcome address, sir. Now I invite Dr. Sasikala, Associate Professor, Department of ECE, Kumaraguru College of Technology, to share a few points about the national seminar.
Yeah, thank you, Alan Joe. So, good morning, everybody. So, we all know that communication plays an important role in our day-to-day life, and in that, antenna forms the vital part of this communication. So, nowadays, it is very much essential. So, I think everyone knows due to this pandemic, it is very important. The communication thing is very, very important. Compact so there are 4 technical sessions are planned to be handled by eminent personalities in the field of antenna design. So the first session will be handled by Dr. Amsaveni, Professor, Department of ECE, Kumaraguru College of Technology. So actually he is working as a professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Kumaraguru College of Technology, Coimbatore. She received her BE degree in Electronics and Communication in the year 1998 from Congo Engineering College, Perundurai, and ME in Applied Electronics from Karunya Institute of Technology, Coimbatore in the year 2002. She obtained her PhD degree from Anna University, Chennai during the year 2016. She has around 22 years of academic experience, and her areas of research interest include information security, antenna and signal processing. She has published around 60 research papers in international journals and conference proceedings. So she has taught a book titled Antenna and Wave Propagation. So he's a suitable person to provide inaugural address also. So now I welcome Dr. And the second session, Assistant Professor Dr. Darwin in the during 11:30 to 1. And the third session will be handled by Dr. Karunya. Topic metamaterial and session will be handled by Assistant Professor from PSD Institute of Technology and Applied Research, Coimbatore. So in the topic 5G antenna. So
now I request Dr. A. Amsaveni, Professor, Department of ECE, Kumaraguru College of Technology, to deliver the inaugural address. Please, ma'am.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. Okay, I welcome each and every one of you for this online national seminar organized by a Department of ECE and EA chapter. And I hope you are safe and doing fine in this pandemic situation. And it's been a great pleasure to be part of this national online IEA seminar. I thank HOD, the coordinators Sasikala and Alan Joe, and IEA chapter for giving me this great opportunity. You all know we are now living in this in a wireless era. We are now in wireless era. So without antenna, you can't enjoy the various wireless applications. For example, you can't enjoy radio broadcasting, satellite, microwave, Bluetooth, mobile phones, GPS, Wi-Fi, and so on. Sky is the limit for wireless applications. So all these things are possible only because of antenna. Okay, take any communication systems, the transmitter and receivers need antenna to couple electrical signal to electromagnetic, to convert electrical energy into electromagnetic energy. And long distance communication is possible only because of antenna, and in applications where wired communication is possible, you need an antenna. Generally, transmitter and receiver require antenna, although these are sometimes hidden inside the device. This may hidden inside the device. For example, if you take our mobile phone or your AM radio or laptop, which is equipped with the Wi-Fi, antennas will be hidden inside these devices. So nowadays there are lots of antennas emerging. For example, if you take smart antennas and adaptive antennas, we have MIMO antennas, metamaterial based antennas, then EBG based antennas. But to design and analyze all these antennas, we need to know the basic concepts of antennas. So my session is on basic concepts of antenna and how to design parameters of antennas.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Thanks for your inaugural address. Okay, the institution, thanks, ma'am. Okay. The Institution of Engineers was started in the year 1920. That is before our country's independence. Now the Institution of Engineers is proud to complete 100 years of establishment. Due to the 100 years of establishment of IEA, the IEA Coimbatore Local Center has planned an online national seminar on antenna design using CAD tools. We thank the IEA Coimbatore Local Center for providing with this precious opportunity. Now I invite Dr. H. Ram Mohan, Honorary Secretary, IEA Coimbatore Local Center, to deliver the vote of thanks. Please, sir.
Thank you, Alan Joe.
Thanks.
Good morning to all of you. It's a great pleasure for me to deliver the vote of thanks. I thank Dr. P.R. Nadarajan, our chairman, IEI Coimbatore Local Center, for his welcome address. I thank Dr. S. Sasikala, Associate Professor, Department of ECE, Kumaraguru College of Technology, Coimbatore, for briefing about the seminar. Thank you, ma'am. I thank Dr. Amsaveni, Professor, Department of ECE, Kumaraguru College of Technology, for the inaugural address. Thank you, ma'am. I thank the management, the principal, the team members of Department of ECE, Kumaraguru College of Technology, Coimbatore, for organizing this seminar in a successful manner. I sincerely thank all the participants for this excellent seminar. Your all participation is very good. High number of participation is there. We are very happy to. Thank you one and all. Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Now we are going to start our first session, which is delivered by Dr. A. Amsaveni. Dr. A. Amsaveni is working as professor in Department of ECE, Kumaraguru College of Technology. She has an experience of 22 years in academics. She received Best Paper Award in 30th GIPSy Standardization Series meeting and IEEE 5G Summit in November 17, 2017 at SRM University. She wrote a book on RF and antenna design. She received a grant of 40,000 from ISRO Bangalore. She also received a 25,000 rupees grant from Robert Bosch Engineering and Business Solution Limited. She received 10,000 rupees funding from TNSEST project under the Students Project Scheme during the academic year 2012-13. She has a KCT management funded project worth 1.15 lakhs. And she has delivered more number of lectures on antenna. And we think that she's the right person to teach us about the glimpses of antenna basics and design concept. I welcome Dr. A. Amsaveni to take over the session. Please, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
So my topic is antenna basics and design concepts. So this is the presentation outline. So what is the historical background of antenna, then definition, need for antenna, and how it radiates electromagnetic waves, then what are the various antenna parameters, how you can design any antenna with the help of microstrip antenna design. I'm going to explain. So this is a historical background of antenna. Actually, in the year 1842, Joseph Henry stated that even telegraph key closures transmit to certain distance. And in 1864, James Clerk Maxwell developed theoretical foundations on electricity and magnetism, known as Maxwell's equations. And in 1885, Thomson Edison patented a communication system. And the father of antenna, none other than Heinrich Hertz, invented the first antenna in the year 1886. It's called as Hertz antenna. It's nothing but your dipole antenna. And in the year 1895, Marconi developed a monopole antenna. So it's otherwise called as Marconi antenna. So this is the Hertz antenna. It's nothing but a dipole antenna, and its length is around lambda by 2. Lambda is nothing but c by f, where c is the velocity of light or speed of light. So participants, please mute your audio. I request all participants to mute your audio. So Hertz made the first radio transmission in the year 1886, and the dipole antenna, what he invented, has an impedance of around 30 to 80, in between 30 to 80 ohms, and it provides bidirectional pattern. And this is the Marconi antenna. It's nothing but a monopole antenna. The length is lambda by 4. Lambda is nothing but c by f, where f is the operating frequency of the antenna. And this is simply a vertical antenna. And the radiation resistance is half of the radiation resistance of your half-wave dipole antenna. It is 36.5. And it provides omnidirectional pattern. Okay, so you all know antenna is a device used for sending or receiving electromagnetic waves. It's a passive structure. Antenna is not an active device, it's a passive device. It acts as a transducer between transmission line and free space in order to receive or transmit electromagnetic waves, and it converts electrical energy into radio waves. It converts electrical energy into radio waves.
Ma'am, sorry for interruption.
Yes.
Is it possible to mute Alan Joe so that it is disturbing?
என்ன சொன்னாரு?
Please ask Alan Joe to mute.
Sir, Sasigala, I think Sasigala ma'am have the provisions. We will try, sir.
You please. So it is interrupting. Please make sure
Yes,
that it should be audible. All the participants, you can also again and again request all the participants, let them mute their own phone, please. Please take care. The session must be highly audible, please. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. So the transmitting antenna will convert electrical energy into radio waves, and the receiving antenna will do the vice versa. That is, that it will convert the EM wave or radio wave into electrical signal. And all antennas will be used with radio transmitter or radio receiver. So without transmitter, you can't radiate any, you can't generate RF signal. The transmitter generates RF signal. It's an one-dimensional signal. It's an electrical signal. So that will be transported to antenna with the help of transmission line. Your transmission line may be a coaxial cable, or it may be a fiber optic cable, or it may be a waveguide. So the antenna converts the received one-dimensional wave electrical signal into three-dimensional electromagnetic wave, and the receiver does the reverse of this. The receiving antenna will receive three-dimensional electromagnetic wave and converts it into one-dimensional electrical signal, and the transmission line will transport that one-dimensional signal to the receiver, nothing but your destination. You know, the same design works for both transmitting and receiving antennas. So that is your antenna satisfies reciprocity theorem. Antennas are reciprocal; they obey reciprocity theorem. So this is Maxwell's. You know, Maxwell's theory laid foundation for antenna concept. You know, the time varying electric field will generate time varying magnetic field. In the same way, hope you all know the Maxwell's equations. We have 4 Maxwell's equations in point form and integral form. This is a Maxwell's concept. A time varying electric field and generate a time varying magnetic field, and vice versa. That is, a time varying magnetic field can also generate a time varying electric field. So E field will produce, electric field will produce magnetic field. B means here it's magnetic flux density, and this in turn will produce electric field, and this process will continue. So the electric field and magnetic field interaction produces the EM wave, and which is perpendicular to E and B fields. The propagation of EM wave will be perpendicular to electric and magnetic fields. So in this way, there is a continuous flow of energy between the fields. And so radiation is nothing but propagation of disturbance, a disturbance in the electromagnetic field that propagates away from the source of disturbance. No, the source of disturbance is nothing but a time varying current source, or it may be a time varying, it may be a current source, or it may be a charge. You know, it may be a source for electric field. So disturbance is created by time varying source that has accelerated or decelerated charge distribution associated with it. So this is the figure which shows you the propagation of radio waves. Here we have a dipole, and there are actually 2 antenna zones, 2 antenna field zones. One is near zone, another one is far zone. There is a boundary that separates these 2 antenna field zones. It's nothing but the boundary is 2d square by lambda, where d is the dimension of the element or dipole. D is the length of the, you can otherwise say 2l square by lambda. So the region which includes 2d square by lambda is nothing but near zone. The region which is greater than 2d square by lambda is nothing but far zone. So so near zone, how the EM waves will travel in a near zone and in far zone. So generation of electromagnetic radiation. So here we have dipoles. We have dipoles at different time intervals. The first one. So the first one is when actually if you if there is a potential difference between the conducting dipole, it will produce electric field. This concept already you might have learned. So if there is a potential difference between any conductor, it will produce electric field. So the first thing, the applied voltage is maximum, the applied potential is maximum. So we have field lines like this. And once the applied voltage starts reducing, the field lines will collapse like this. Field lines collapse when the voltage difference between both the ends decreases. Then the field lines will be detached from the antenna, and you will get free space waves. Okay, the field lines will get reduced, will get collapsed once the applied potential starts reducing. For example, in the sine wave, after reaching the maximum, the current will start decreasing. So this is your field lines when the potential starts decreasing, and once it reaches zero, when the potential difference is zero, it will form, the field lines will have a loop-like formation and will be detached from the dipole. Okay, and these all the detached loops are nothing but the electromagnetic waves which will propagate into this free space. The fourth one, again, now the potential gets reversed. Potential gets reversed. That is, now it's minus plus. In the first diagram, we have plus minus. Next, it is minus plus. The same process repeats. Do you think the direction gets changed? Once the potential starts decreasing, again, it will detach from the dipole and will form field loops. And the field loops will be pushed away at a speed of light. And again, the same concept. So here we have a dipole. The yellow shaded one is nothing but a conducting dipole antenna, and current flow is there, and it's provided with a supply. So electric field will be produced. If there is a time varying electric field, then there will be a time varying magnetic field. So which material is preferred for making an antenna? You all know antenna is made up of a conducting material. Why we are using copper? Generally, copper is preferred to fabricate any antenna, and its conductivity is twice as that of aluminum and twice as that of twice as that of aluminum and 6 times greater than steel. That's why we are using copper for manufacturing any antenna. And generally, size and shape of antenna determines the frequencies at which it can operate and how it radiates electromagnetic waves. Generally, the dimensions are expressed in terms of wavelength. Low frequencies imply long wavelength. You all know lambda is equal to C by F. So the frequency is inversely proportional to wavelength. So low frequency, if the antenna is operating in low frequency, it means it's a antenna size is large, and high frequency antennas are of otherwise called a short wavelength antenna. High frequency antennas are generally small in size. So next we will go to various antenna parameters. What are the various antenna parameters or characteristics of antenna? While designing any antenna, you need to consider, you will analyze all these antenna parameters. For example, how is the radiation pattern, whether it meets your specified requirements. For example, you may need a bidirectional antenna for some applications, or you may need a unidirectional antenna, or you may need a high gain antenna, high directivity antenna. So like that. So while designing any antenna, and after designing any antenna, you will analyze all these antenna parameters. The first parameter is radiation pattern. So radiation pattern is an important parameter for any antenna. It gives you the variation of electric field or power radiated by an antenna as a function of the direction away from the antenna, or as a function of spatial coordinates r, theta, and phi. R is nothing but the radius of sphere, theta, azimuth angle, elevation angle, and so on. Okay, so radiation pattern, I have shown on diagram here. So this is an example for one radiation pattern. Here we have only one major lobe, and there are number of minor lobes. There are two types of minor lobes, side lobe and back lobe. So what is major lobe? Major lobe defines the direction of desired radiation pattern, So the minor lobe level should be always very high, An antenna may produce one or more major lobes. And we have two minor lobes, that is side lobes and back lobe. The side lobe is just adjacent to the main lobe and will occupy the hemisphere in the direction of main lobe. It will be located adjacent to the main lobe. And back lobe is it occupies the hemisphere in the direction opposite to that of major lobe. Just it makes an 180 degree with respect to major lobe, just the back side of your major lobe. Generally, the minor lobe level should be very low. It should be very minimum for you can say for theoretical case. It should be very low and it should be zero. Better it should be zero, but that is not possible in practical case. And we have different types of antennas. We have there's so many classifications. You can categorize the antennas as unidirectional antennas, bidirectional, similarly isotropic antenna. We have omnidirectional antenna, directional antenna. There's a lot of categories. So what is an isotropic antenna? So isotropic antenna is one which radiates uniformly in all directions. It will radiate power uniformly in all directions. But actually, it's very difficult to realize such a lossless antenna in practical. It's otherwise called as lossless antenna, and the radiation pattern is given here. This is the radiation pattern of isotropic antenna, uniform radiation in all directions. This is a three-dimensional pattern. In a two-dimensional pattern, it will be simply a circle in a polar plot, and the beam width of isotropic antenna is 360 degree. And we have omnidirectional antenna, and this antenna radiates equal radio power in all directions perpendicular to antenna axis, and there's a power variation with respect to angle, and it declines to 0 on the axis. And the 3D radiation pattern is given. It's donut shaped, and the dipole antenna and slot antenna are examples for this omnidirectional antenna. Actually, if you take a two-dimensional pattern of omnidirectional antenna, it will be figure of a donut shape. Donut shape is a three-dimensional pattern, and if you take a two-dimensional pattern, it will be a figure of 8. And the third category is directional antenna. It will direct the energy in the desired direction. It won't radiate energy in all directions as your isotropic and omnidirectional antenna. These antennas have a single major lobe, or it may have two major lobes, and have a single peak direction, not even two peaks. Examples for directional antenna are dish antenna, slotted waveguide antenna, and so on. This is the radiation pattern. Here we have a major lobe shaded in red and green color, and other blue color lobes are nothing but minor lobes. So we have a radiation in the desired direction. And the other antenna parameter is radiation intensity. You all know what is power density. Power density is nothing but power radiated per unit area, and the unit is watts per meter square. Here it is power radiated from antenna in a given direction per unit solid angle. Because angle of sphere is measured in terms of sterdian. Angle of sphere is solid angle is related to your sphere. If you take okay, the unit of solid angle is nothing but sterdian, and this is the formula to find radiation intensity, and use nothing but radiation intensity here. P radiation is nothing but power radiated. If you integrate radiation intensity, you will get if you integrate radiation intensity over sphere, you will get power radiated. And average radiation intensity is nothing but power radiated by 4 pi, where 4 pi is the solid angle, okay, the total solid angle covered by a sphere. if you take a plane angle, we have for a circle, the angle is called as plane angle. The plane angle covered by a circle is 2 pi. In the same way, the solid angle covered by a sphere, because you know antenna radiates in free space. Free space is nothing but a spherical coordinate. So 4 pi is the solid angle of a sphere. The other antenna parameter, another important antenna parameter is directivity. So it's a measure of how directional an antenna's radiation pattern is. How directional an antenna's radiation pattern is. And it radiates, you know, antenna, if antenna radiates equally in all directions, you can say that the directionality of that antenna is 0. Okay, so if you take isotropic antenna, it radiates uniformly in all directions. So its directivity is simply 1, and in decibel it is 0. 20 log 1 is 0. So directivity is defined as the ratio of radiation intensity in a given direction from the antenna to the radiation intensity averaged over all directions. It's the directivity formula U of theta comma phi by U average radiation intensity, maximum radiation intensity to average radiation intensity. And if you take radar, it can be a search. Radar can be used for searching a target or to control fire. Okay, you can use radar in fire control applications. So search radar should have a larger beam width for detection and tracking, because it has to search in all directions. So it should have large beam width. So beam width, what is beam width? I forgot to tell you here. Actually, there are two types of beam width. We have a half power beam width and first null beam width. Half power beam width and first null beam width. Why it is called as half power beam width? Actually, we have a major lobe level, no? So from major lobe, if you draw a line 3 dB down, if you draw a line 3 dB down from its maximum, that will cut the lobe in two places. So that width is nothing but beam width. It's an angular width measured between 2 points where power is reduced to half of its maximum. And we have first null beam width. So this angular width is called as first null beam width. So angular width between first nulls. Nulls is nothing but nulls represent zero radiation direction. Zero radiation direction. Antenna won't radiate any energy along null directions. So angular width between first nulls is nothing but first null beam width. So half power beam width either you can define in terms of power or in terms of electric field intensity. The angular width between 2 points where the electric field is 1/√2 times of its maximum level, or in terms of power it is half of the maximum power. Actually, you can relate beam width and directivity. Actually, beam width is inversely proportional to directivity. For any antenna, beam width is, will be inversely related to directivity. So for a search radar, we need larger beam width for detection and tracking. So the main should be very wide.
Hello, Amsaveni.
Yes, ma'am.
Amsaveni, madam.
Yes, Sasikala.
One
Yes,
second. Many people are saying that. Many people are saying that PPT is not visible. Dear participants, I think you have to pin Dr. Amsaveni. So PPT is actually visible.
It's visible only, ma'am.